Pops and Hisses, a music podcast where you hear from the artists you love. I'm your host, Kevin Coffey, and in this episode, we have Orenda, Fink, and Maria Taylor of Azure. Their debut self-titled album was released in 2001. Before that, the duo had been signed to a major label, and the songs for Azure weren't even intended to be released. But eventually they were, and it altered their career trajectory forever. Now they've remastered the album, and they're releasing it on vinyl for the first time, along with a photo book documenting the history of the band. So I talked to Orenda and Maria about forming Azure, writing these songs, and what it was like to revisit everything for this re-release, which is coming out January 16th on Maria's label, Flower Moon Records. Real quick, I want to remind you that you can listen to the Pops and Hisses podcast and find music news, reviews, and interviews at popsandhisses.com. But right now, it's time for Orenda and Maria from Azure. Let's get into it. Thanks for doing this. So just, how are you guys been doing? What's been going on? How's everyone surviving?
Oh, we're hanging in there. I mean, life is crazy and sucks in many ways, but I don't know, Orenda and I have a lot on the horizon, and we've a lot to be excited about. And yeah, right now it's just election anxiety, like really bad.
Right.
Yeah. I'm out here in the high desert now, so I'm only about 2.5 hours away from Maria, and which is nice. So we've really been able to get work done somehow during COVID, most of it remotely, but we have like tested, a couple of times, and worked under the same roof, which has been absolutely delightful. And yeah, we're just trying to make the best of everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And Orenda lives in paradise. It's like the most beautiful place on the planet in the desert. So whenever I do go visit her, it's also like an extreme vacation. So it's great.
It's like Mars, which feels like a vacation these days.
Feels far, far away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Is this the closest you two have been physically to each other in a long time?
In a long time, yeah.
I mean, 2 hours away seems like you guys probably haven't lived that close to each other in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Probably 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
But yeah, and then there was a brief time where I was in Birmingham, Alabama, and she was in Athens, Georgia, but that's 4 hours away. So yeah, it's been really, really nice. If we ever, we need to see each other, it's just an easy drive away.
For sure. Well, I mean, it's nice to have the technology we have, because you can make music remotely. It's not that hard to make files and send it, but I can only imagine it's all the better if you're just in the room together.
100%.
So lately, I mean, how have you been spending this time? I know, Maria, you have kids, so that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel busier than ever because they don't have school, they don't have activities. So, every day is just like, oh God, how do I entertain them all day? So yeah, I actually feel just way busier than I normally would, because I get absolute time, no free time for myself, or to just a minute to take a breath. So yeah, and juggling that and working on new stuff with Orenda, it's been challenging, but it's also keeping my mind off of the apocalypse.
That's good.
Yeah.
You guys have been spending time making music then lately.
Yeah, we've got 2 projects in the works, and one of them is we're releasing our first record on vinyl for the first time, on its 20th anniversary, which is coming up in January. And we kind of, to commemorate the 20th anniversary, we went through like just thousands of old photographs and things like that, and put together a picture book that's going to go with it. So that's been really fun, and we had it remastered, the record, and for vinyl, and a new digital remaster. So we've been working on that, and then we've also been working on a new record to follow it up.
Very cool. Where are you guys in the process on that one?
Well, we kind of want to keep it a little bit of mystery. Don't want to talk about it too much, but we've been working on it for months now, so we're deep in that project, and we're super duper excited about it.
Awesome. Had that been planned, or was that something that came about because well, I know you feel like you don't have any time, but because, there's time now to make music maybe and not be out having to play music all the time.
Yeah, and I just think, we're feeling emotional. I feel like right now, it's just like we're inspired
Right.
to write. And Azure has always been a process, kind of a therapeutic process, writing Azure songs. So it definitely felt like this was the time.
Yeah, it's been a good time for introspection, if nothing else. Introspection and heavy drinking.
And relying on our friendship to keep us afloat like we always do.
Yeah, I feel the same. A lot of sitting at home and having a drink at the end of the day.
Or 2 or 3.
Yeah, or whatever you feel like that day, whatever you need.
Yeah, no one's judging during the COVID days, just
Right?
like do what you gotta do.
Yeah, no one's coming to my house. It's not like anybody sees me. It's fine.
Yeah,
exactly. When my kids are asleep, they don't need to know what's going on.
Yeah. The house takes on a different vibe after bedtime, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally. Lights come on at 8:30.
Yeah. So yeah, tell me about the re-release. Can you walk me a little bit through the process? You guys have control of your catalog now, so that lets you kind of do whatever you want with this. But one, it's got to feel crazy that it's been 20 years since that album came out. It feels crazy to me, and I didn't make it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how'd you approach this? Did one of you look in your like social media memories and go, oh no, our album came out 20 years ago next year?
Maria's husband does that for us.
Yeah. My husband pretty much runs the label that he and I started. It was my idea, and then he does all the work. And so he's great about that. Like he has a calendar where he just is like, okay, it's the 8th year reunion and the 10th year. And so 2 years ago, he was telling us, girls, your 20th reunion is coming up in 2 years. Like, it deserves to be celebrated, and we need to do something special. So he kept reminding us. And then once we did get the rights back to our whole catalog, it's just a whole other level of just feeling proud of what we've done and wanting to promote it ourselves and celebrate it. And we got together and went through boxes and found old pictures and clippings, and we put together a really cool photo book that's going to go along with the vinyl. And also throughout the years, people keep asking us when this record will be out on vinyl, and it never has been, which is kind of crazy. So we just decided, well, instead of just doing it some random day, let's just wait it out for the 20th anniversary, and let's make a deal out of it.
That's so cool. It's also crazy to think about a time when certain things didn't come out on vinyl, which is right about when this album came out.
Yeah, everything was it's all about CDs. And now I don't even have a way to play a CD anywhere in my house or car or anywhere.
Yeah, we had a CD player in my car, and then we got a new car. And I think I can play one like in a DVD player attached to my TV. I think that's about the only option, but who's doing that?
You got more options than we do.
Yeah.
So funny. It's crazy.
So how much did you revisit the album? Obviously you had to do the remaster, but did you guys sit in on that thing, or was that kind of sent off to someone to take care of?
Actually, just in a wild turn of events, I live in a really small desert town called 29 Palms, and the guy that mastered the November EP, which was really the second release, the release we did right after that first record, he moved down the street from me, because he also was like escaping the city from COVID.
Wow.
And so we reconnected, and we just had him do it, and I was like, oh, this is wild. Coming back around. So yeah, his name's Glenn Schick. He's really great. And he did it just right down the street. Of course, I wasn't in there, but we did revisit the record because we had to listen to it multiple times. We had to approve 2 masters. And it's like we were talking about the other day, it was the first time that we'd really listened through the whole record in a really long time.
And another surprise was when we got our masters back from Warm, our first label. We got the actual reel-to-reel tapes, and Ryan was looking and he's like, wait, there's an extra song, what is this? And we're like, holy shit, like we forgot that one song didn't make it on the record, so there will be a bonus track that no one's heard that we forgot about.
Well, that's cool. Well, yeah, if it wasn't on the record and maybe you guys didn't play it that much, I mean, yeah.
I don't think
we
ever
never played
it.
it.
Never.
We just recorded it and forgot about it.
That's funny. What's the song called?
Well, it's never been released.
Okay.
I think so. We don't even really have a title. I don't even know. We haven't even like officially titled it yet.
Yeah, we got to do that. Wait, is it not titled on the record, or is it only on digital?
It's only on digital.
Oh, okay. So it won't be on the vinyl.
Mm-mm.
Right on. That's really funny.
I know. When you wait 20 years, it's like your memory really starts to fade. So it's amazing all the little gems we found, like pictures and clippings and songs. It's just like, wow, no recollection of this.
Tell me about the photo book. I mean, that must have been really wild because it covers kind of not just that time, right? It's like the last 20 years or so, correct?
Actually longer. We actually went all the way back to like Little Red Rocket days where I was 16 or 15. So that was what, like, I don't know, 29. So it's like photos from the last 28 years.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. It's really wild. Lots of different hair colors.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's almost like looking at your high school yearbook in a way, except probably more fun and a lot cooler.
I know. I had to just let go of my ego because I'm just like, dear God, why was anyone even friends with me? Like, I look so awful. And I mean, the things I wore, my hairdos, everything. Like, I must have been very nice.
We were nice. We were not fashionistas, though.
No.
You guys probably thought you weren't, but here you are in a band. Everyone's looking at you thinking you're super cool. So you were probably fine.
Well, wait till they see this book.
Yeah, I was looking at my hair also, and I realized too, but is we didn't have enough money back then for a hairdresser, so we just chopped on our own hair. So I think that was a big problem.
I'm still doing that.
Oh yeah, COVID problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the photo book sounds really, really cool.
It was fun to put together. It really was a trip down memory lane.
So, because we're talking about this album and how long ago it came out, but yeah, you were talking about Little Red Rocket. You guys met each other like in high school, right? Originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then can you take me kind of from the end of Little Red Rocket to then coming back together and forming Azure, because that would have been a few years later.
Well, we were in Athens, Georgia, and Little Red Rocket was just a really, fun party band where we would just play loud and scream and, get drunk, and it was just super fun. And then one show, we were in Atlanta, and on our way back, my boyfriend at the time, his name was Peter, he died of a drug overdose in the van with us.
Oh,
and it was just, I don't know, a pivotal time in our lives where everything from that moment on changed, and our perspectives on life and music and friendship. I mean, it just changed everything. And so we couldn't go back to playing those songs and being in that band.
Right.
And so we, I was living with my boyfriend at the time. So from that day on, I moved in with Orenda. And these were just the songs that we wrote, that first record. It was our therapy, and it was getting us through that. I mean, we were so young, we were 23, and so we really had no intention of even releasing them. And then we played them at a memorial show, and a friend who owned a label came up to us and just said, these songs are beautiful, would you guys, could we put them out, can we record them, and I'll put them out on my label. And we thought about it, and then I don't know, I guess eventually we were like, yeah, maybe these could help other people that are going through the same kind of loss or any kind of loss. Mm-hmm. And so that is how Azure was born.
So I mean, that album was really well received. So was that a surprise? These albums that you, or these songs that you kind of made and for yourselves or your or your friends to then be people responding so well to them?
Yeah, it was a I mean, that's an understatement that it was a surprise. I mean, with with Red Rocket, I mean, we had gotten signed by Geffen Records early on, and
Mm-hmm.
we never put out a proper major label debut, but we put out a kind of like a developmental record with them, they called it. And then
Right.
we did a record on our own and with the Red Rocket, and we kind of always figured we'd go back to a major label, you know, once we kind of got our bearings after Geffen and you know, just being on Geffen and being in a pop rock band, it was all about like getting you famous, you know, making you huge and like
Right.
so. And we never quite achieved that with Little Red Rocket. So it was like this strange kind of bitter irony that you know this record kind of born out of this grief would somehow be the record that was way more popular than the band that everyone was trying to make successful. When you say Maria, it was kind of a mind fuck in a little way.
Definitely. And we were saying the other day also that, you know, there wasn't internet back then. We didn't have computers. We had one telephone between the two of us that,
Right.
you know, yeah, there was no internet on it. So we also weren't even really aware until we would travel and play these shows and they started to fill up and fill up. And so that's how we were surprised along the way. You know, it wasn't just like, wow, all of a sudden, because there was no way for us to know. So yeah,
Until we got to the clubs.
Yeah, and then they would be sold out. And we're like, what? You know, like how?
Oh no, these songs I wrote for myself, I now have to play in front of.
And it was emotional. I mean, we would cry. I still get teary-eyed and have to hold back from crying a lot of times when I play November to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But back then they were very raw. And not only would we get, you know, emotional, like people in the crowd could definitely feel it and they would cry. So it was really like a beautiful experience to share with people at the shows. And they were always so respectful and quiet and just like it was an experience for us as well.
So what was it like going back? Do you still have, you said you do on some of those songs, but what was it like going back and listening to that album? I mean, now several times during the remaster process. What's it like to listen to those songs now?
I sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah, our voices are definitely higher pitched. A lot of years of living since that record, but I guess I always just kind of marvel at Eric Bachman's production on that first record. I mean, I don't think he really knew what he was getting into at that time and hadn't done anything quite like it, but he just captured this really beautiful world in just kind of always, I don't know, I kind of get lost in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Did you just know him from being around Athens?
Yeah, so Brian Causey from Worm was friends with him, and he's the one that approached us at Peter's memorial show, you know, with the idea of recording the songs and putting them out on Worm, and he suggested Eric Bachman to produce it, and we didn't know Eric at all. We hadn't listened to Archers of Loaf, or we're pretty, you know, indie rock illiterate at that time.
And I love too that how we just said yes, never hearing anything he'd done. Like we always did that, you know. We would just say yes to any idea if anyone had it, you know. We're like, okay, sure. But yeah, we had no idea. This could have been a heavy metal production for all we knew. We just said sure, and he did it, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys worked with him a bunch more, and then he ended up putting out his own album on Saddle Creek and stuff. So yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah, we kept asking him until he finally just said no. He's like, I'm done. I've had enough of you girls. Please.
Yeah, he's like, we can't keep doing this for my girls.
Oh God.
So I did want to ask, so now you get to release the album, you get to release it on your own label, which is really nice. What's that been like having control over that whole catalog? You can, not like, you know, any label that had the rights to them was holding it over you or something, but now you can kind of be creative and do this sort of stuff with it. Is that fun?
It's so much fun. I mean, yeah, we can do anything we want. and we're just really proud of them. So we want to showcase them. You know, there's so many songs and records that have kind of gotten lost throughout the years, and we're excited to bring them back into the light and just celebrate all the work we've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great feeling. It you know, and just to have everything together, kind of like
it's like
Azure and solo, like basically everything that me and Maria have ever done, outside of just a few small things, is now has one home, and it's with us, and it feels great.
It feels so right.
Yeah, that's great.
For it to end up that way. You know, it was a journey along the way, and we love Saddle Creek, and we love Warm, and it's just, but yeah, that they've all landed home back to us. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I know it's right now, everything's up in the air, especially when it comes to touring and stuff, but do you guys have any intention to maybe play next year, play this album? Maybe
I don't think there's going to be shows. I don't think so next year. I wish, but I feel like it'll be virtual shows for a while.
I don't foresee much going on next year.
Yeah, a lot of people, even in the clubs here, are scheduling stuff for April and May. And,
no way.
And basically saying, yeah, and we'll probably cancel.
Right.
So,
it seems like I've seen that several times along the way, and I'm just like, save yourself the work.
I know.
Right?
Like, just wait.
I know.
You're gonna have to keep canceling it.
I mean, I guess it gives us hope that things will be better, but
hope is good.
Sadder, it just becomes more sad when it gets postponed again.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, we had discussed about, potentially waiting to put the new record out till COVID was done, quote unquote, or people could tour again, but we just don't see. I think you can't predict the end, like it's not in sight. So we just would rather put out music that we're making than try to wait for some.
And people need it right now. I mean, we need music and TV shows. I mean, we're all stuck at home. Like, at least we could have some entertainment. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And I, for one, if you guys decided to do a streaming show, would think that was cool.
Yeah, I definitely do that.
Yeah, I want to do one from Orenda's front porch, so you guys can all get a little taste of paradise.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Very cool. Well, that is most of the stuff I wanted to ask. Maria and Orenda, thanks so much for taking the time for me today. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Pops and Hisses. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, or head to popsandhisses.com, where you can listen to the podcast and find more music news, reviews, interviews, and what else? More podcast episodes. I'm your host, Kevin Coffey, and you can follow me on Twitter as @OmahaMusicGuy, or find my page on Facebook by searching for Kevin Coffey. My last name is spelled Coffey, by the way. Thanks to Herdat Media for producing the show, and I encourage you to check out Herdat's network of podcasts such as my friends Pat and JT, who tell great and funny stories, or Meathead Test Kitchen, where they talk about food and fitness. Find them all at herdatmedia.com/network. That's HURRDAT media.com/network. Thanks for listening. See you next time.